The myocardial performance index, or TEI index, is where we basically evaluate the different periods of time throughout the cardiac cycle. And so this kind of gives us an overall assessment of cardiac function because it's looking through systole as well as diastole. And so it looks at all of those components of the cardiac cycle. And so with that, we look at basically the two different ventricles separately. We can do something for it's pretty much the same thing, but it's called RIMP in the right heart, where in the left heart it's called MPI, or TEI index. So when we're looking here, this is isovolumic relaxation time. So below this would be aortic ejection. Now imagine, like, this is for essentially a fetal echo, but in an adult, we would take this in two separate different views, unless we had dual Doppler, which is only made by one manufacturer. So if we imagine we're taking two different pulse waves, so we have one with the aortic coming down this way, and then we have one with the mitral valve above the baseline, right? So mitral valve here, so we have our ejection time, which takes place during systole, and then just after that, we have that isovolumic relaxation time. So if we think about what those times entail, the isovolumic contraction time, again, is that time between basically the ventricular contraction and the opening of the valve, right? So we have the opening of the aortic valve, or the semilunar valves, the aorta and pulmonic open at the same time. So this is where that valve is open and we're actually actively ejecting. But the contraction time is when it starts to contract, but there's no volume change, right? And so that's kind of measured right before that ejection of the aortic flow, or just after that A wave of the mitral valve, right? So if we think about the A wave, that's that atrial kick, right? So that atrial kick is happening during diastole. And then from there, we start into isovolumic contraction, and that's then systole comes from there, right? So systole starts to happen right here, and this is part of systole, both the ejection time. Then we go back into diastole again, right? So we're back into diastole after the ejection time is over, before the E wave, so this is kind of that start of diastole. And then we have diastolic filling time. So diastolic filling time is the time that the ventricle is actually filling with blood. And so that's kind of how you would break that down when you look at the aortic valve.